Guys, this is Tiger's Chess Academy, and today let's get started with one of the Italian games, Gambit, which is kind of a trap line, and if you don't know how to do with it, you can get into a easy lose. So let's get started without further ado. So white's move here is to play e4 first, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5. And now white plays this unusual move. Instead of c3, white play here castle, which is also a variation, but it is just sort of like it's different in sequences. But after you say like play knight f6 here, white will play this weird gambit. It's called the Jude's Gambit, if I didn't pronounce it wrong. It is to play the move d4 here, which if you look at it with your first look, it looks very, very dangerous. And it looks like a blunder from white because there are just a bunch of pawns I can take here, right? Like with a bunch of pieces. There are all those bunch of pieces I can take with them, and this looks like a blunder. And we'll take them one by one. So first of all, if you take with a knight, if you take this pawn, which you can only take with a knight because you have no other pieces here. If you take with a knight, white can take your bishop. So, your bishop is gone, and now after you take back, white is better because he have more pieces than you. So back to here, and now you can't take the c4 pawn, so that is denied. And then let's see our solution B. So if you take with the e pawn, if you take the d4 pawn, white can play this move e5, which threatens to take this knight on the next turn, and you will find that your knight doesn't really have a good place. Like your knight can't go to d5, it can't go to d5, it can go to e4, but it's kind of dangerous there, and you can go to g4, but it doesn't really do anything there, and it's also pretty dangerous because the queen puts a discovers or X-ray against this knight, and also you also face potential threats of h3 and getting this knight away. And another move is knight h5, which also it's worse than even knight g4, so you can tell how bad it is. And another move is just knight g8. So that's just bad. That's just more bad. So e takes d4 isn't good, and now here, when d4, if you place knight takes d4, white has this move knight e5 here, threatening to take this pawn with either pieces, and you will be in very bad situation because you can't defend that pawn, and also white have a lot of possibilities than you. Well, not possibility. White's pieces are more like positive than you. Those bishop, like this bishop and this knight are attacking this pawn, and it's very hard to defend as well as black here. So if white plays here d4 here, where our only option here to take the pawn is to play bishop d4, which it defends everything. It doesn't, like, you can't take the pawn here because it's guarded by both the bishop and the knight. And also, when I take the bishop, if you take with the knight, which is what how this trap will be continued, you just take with the knight here. And notice, one thing to notice here is don't take with a pawn, because that is kind of like this position where with e5. Although in this position, it's a much simplified version. But as you can tell from the vol bar, white is much better because, again, a difference between this and this is, well, meanwhile in this game, white doesn't have his queen, like it's blocked by this knight here. You can play knight g4 or knight h5. Meanwhile, in this position, you no longer have g5 and h5 squares because it's controlled by the queen and there's no knight blocking it. So here you have to take with a knight, and after you take with a knight, white decides to play this move f4. So f4, now there's a little trap here. It's that you can't take here because other else white just grabs this knight, and you just lost a knight, and white is better than you because he have a piece more than you. So in this position, you play the move sound and steady, the d6 move, supporting this e5 pawn. And white takes it, and after you take, white plays this bishop g5 move, which pins your knight, and so your knight cannot take e4 because say you take e4 here. First of all, I have this, and second of all, I can take first with Chuck, and then after you play king d7, I can take this queen. So in both ways, it's very bad for black. So knight e4 is unavailable here due to this pin with a black queen. And so bishop g5, its duty is done. And here, what white will do in the next couple moves, and it is what makes this gambit so dangerous, is that white will take on this knight, okay? You're like, well, that's probably not very much, right? But then after he take on this knight, he will play c3, and then you're still like, that's probably not very dangerous, right? But after you retreat your knight to e6, you found the real danger, which queen f3, hitting this pawn. And I'm just gonna show it to you guys in case you guys don't have this just like in mind. So here we will he'll just play this, and after c3, get your knight away, which you can play here and here, like either move. He will just play queen f3, getting back his pawn, and after he get back this pawn, you will have a lot of forces attacking on f7, and it's very bad for black. It's very negative for black because, well, obviously while your pieces are not very active, his pieces are attacking your king right now. So that's what white wants to do, and that is why I'm telling this gambit in here. So here, black's key move here is not to play a random move like a6, but to play the move queen e7. Now, queen e7 have a lot of meanings. First meaning is to avoid the queen trade, because first of all, say you move your knight here, white can just play queen d8, and after d8, I can just play bishop takes f6, g takes f6, rook takes f6, and I win the pawn back with more activity. And also my bishop is better, your bishop isn't even developed. So here, this is queen e7's first purpose. The second purpose of queen e7 is to at some point have this very brilliant move queen c5, have x-raying on the king, sorry, not the queen, and hitting this bishop, and that is very dangerous for the white kings. So after you play queen e7, say white plays the move c3. Now if white plays the move c3, the move I recommend for you is to play the move knight e6, hitting the bishop. Now why would you rather choose e6 than c6? Because, well, the thing is, if you go to c6, it's not bad, but the problem with you is that you aren't attacking positively. Meanwhile, if you play knight e6, you hit this bishop and you're forcing white to make a choice here, which either if you play bishop h4, there is g5 here, hitting the bishop, and after bishop g3, black just play knight f4 here, and black can play h5, h4. This is very positive for black, and bishop g4, and oh boy, white is collapsing. So here, his first choice is here. His first choice is bishop h4, second choice is to take, and you're like, hey, but if he takes, isn't this the dangerous point about the gambit you told us all about? Well, the thing is, if he plays queen f3 here, you have a trick for him, which is queen c5. And that forks the king and the bishop at the same time, and you lose a bishop. You simply lose a bishop, and after you take this pawn, I can just move the rook, or pretty much do anything, and I'm just better. I have more pieces than you. So here, I cannot play queen f3, and say white plays knight a3 or something. Now you just play bishop d7, and then you castle, and you're not very afraid of queen f3 because say he plays queen f3, you have just move knight f4 here, which just stops the queen. And after g3, you have this h3 square and g2 square very empty. Like you can just play bishop h3 and start infiltrating. So you can just play bishop h3 and now, or maybe knight h3 is also a move here. Like it's both is a move here. Like you can either play knight h3 or you can play like bishop h3, and after say like king h1, you do not need to even care about this pawn, and you can just start h5 h4, start hammering the white king very badly. So here, and then after queen of 6, well, I guess you just play chess and then you get out of the danger of the gambit. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you have a good day each and see you